Yo, what is going on, guys? It is yours truly, LastChanceFPS, or you guys can call me by my name, Chance. And guys, I'm not even kidding when I say this. If these 5 changes were made to Modern Warfare right now, this Call of Duty would actually be really, really good.
Bitch, please.
So like the title says, boys, I'm going to be talking about 5 different topics that if the Modern Warfare developers actually listened to these suggestions and followed through, it would be a total 180 for Modern Warfare, and we would actually have a good Call of Duty on our hands. Now, I've already made it pretty clear in my previous videos that I do not like Modern Warfare in the slightest. I think it is easily one of the worst Call of Duties we've ever gotten in the franchise. But something I totally have to admit in the same breath is that Modern Warfare, as bad as it is, still has so much untapped potential that I feel like no one else but the developers are holding this game back. Because as of lately, I've been starting to play Modern Warfare a lot more and also streaming it over on my Twitch, which quick little plug-in. If you guys haven't followed my Twitch, I will have that linked down in the description down below. Highly recommend you guys go check it out. We get turned up down there.
Yeah, boy.
But yeah, with that out of the way, I've been playing Modern Warfare a good amount, and I've been noticing that if I don't have to deal with some of these issues that I'm going to be talking about in this video, I actually have a ton of fun playing Modern Warfare, believe it or not. And something else I want to clear up as well is that I've also built up the reputation now that I am generally always negative about Modern Warfare, and I don't just hate Call of Duty or even Modern Warfare just to hate it. I've been playing Call of Duty for almost 10 years now, and I know what a good Call of Duty game is at this point, and Modern Warfare is just not it. But once again, if these changes were actually implemented, I would do a total change up with my attitude this game, and I would be the first person to admit that, oh wow, Modern Warfare, it's actually a good playable Call of Duty game, and that's what I want to see at the end of the day.
Bitch, I hope the fuck you do.
So with all that stuff being said, guys, I hope you go on to enjoy the rest of today's video. And of course, if you guys haven't already, drop a like on this video as well as comment down below your guys' thoughts. Subscribe to the channel and turn on those bell notifications to get notified every single time I upload a new video here on my channel. Follow my Twitch and all my social medias that should be linked down in the description down below. And yeah, guys, with all that stuff being said, let's get on with the rest of today's video. The first change that I would love to see come to Modern Warfare that I bet a lot of you probably already know what it is. I've been talking about it for what seems like forever now, and that would be to completely remove skill-based matchmaking. At this point, there's no ands, ifs, or buts about it, and once I find out that a Call of Duty game does in fact have skill-based matchmaking, it's like a deal breaker for me at this point, and I just want nothing to do with it. But if I had to do somewhat of a quick summarization of why I don't like skill-based matchmaking, it always comes back to the root cause that it ruins the fun factor for everyone. It doesn't matter if you're a good player like myself, an average player, or even a below average player. If you're playing people of your equal skill level every single game, it just completely ruins the fun factor when playing public matches, and it makes you feel like you're not getting better as a player. And I'm sorry, when I play video games, I want to play and have a fun casual experience. I don't want to have to sweat my ass off every single game just to even do somewhat well. And I think what's making this situation just the absolute worst case scenario is that every single time we complain about to the developers, they just give us the cold shoulder and ignore us. They're not even acknowledging that it's in the game when it is very apparent that it is. And some of the more common skill-based matchmaking excuses that I've already covered are things like developers claiming that apparently it helps like 80 to 90% of players in the game when there's skill-based matchmaking, which I just don't think is true. Even the Modern Warfare developers have come out and said that they want to protect bad players and not allow them to get pub stomped every single game so they actually continue to play the game. But if you look at someone like my experience when I first played Call of Duty, it just really doesn't add up. And probably the worst part outside of it ruining the fun factor is that it forces good players like myself to have to reverse boost and basically cheat the system just so we get paired up against kids that aren't as good as us every single time. I'm sorry, when I look at skill-based matchmaking in the big picture, all of the negatives totally outweigh the positives, and I just think there is no excuse at the same time to just not have a separate ranked mode with skill-based matchmaking and leave the public matches to only be 100% connection based. I don't know why they cannot grasp this feature, but if they actually did this, Modern Warfare would be a lot more tolerable. The next change that I would love to see come to Modern Warfare that, to be quite frank with you guys, I am just shocked has not been implemented yet, and that would be to either nerf or just change the ghost perk and make it to where you have to be moving to stay off the minimap. Now, once again, I've already covered this topic in detail in some of my previous videos, but I just love giving the Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 analogy when it comes to the ghost perk. In Black Ops 1, the ghost perk completely ruined that game to an extent and incentivized players not to move and basically camp all game because they would always be off the minimap no matter what. And this would obviously ruin the experience for good players like myself that would rush around all the time, but we would be at a disadvantage because kids camping all game with Ghost on would always have the one up from us. It would just be so infuriating to deal with. But in Black Ops 2, Treyarch developers actually learned from their mistakes and made it to where you have to be moving when having Ghost on to stay off the minimap, which just makes all the sense in the world when you actually think about it. And wow, holy cow, once you have this feature like this, it incentivizes players to actually move in your game and just have better flow in your maps, which in Modern Warfare, that is just not the case. Now, I am of the belief that the Modern Warfare developers honestly want to cater to the bad players and want to give them an overpowered perk like Ghost to protect them because they've already made other indications that they do not care about the good players, only the bad players. But at the end of the day, I don't care. There's no excuse from it. Other Call of Duties in the past have learned from this mistake. I don't understand why Modern Warfare now in 2020 have made the same mistake we had to deal with 10 years ago. And the amount of times I've died to players in Modern Warfare camping in a dark corner with Ghost on and I have no idea where they are because I'm rushing around all game, it is just so annoying to deal with and I'm sick of it. This change has to happen. The next change that I think has to happen sooner than later in Modern Warfare is we get the minimap to be reverted back to the way it used to be in every single Call of Duty game prior. I think we're all aware at this point that in Modern Warfare, instead of an enemy appearing on the minimap as a red dot when they shoot an unsuppressed weapon, they now show up as a blip on your compass. And I've been complaining about the minimap since the beta when we figured all this out, and now we're 3 months after launch and they have been ignoring our change with the minimap, and it is just so infuriating to deal with. I'm getting sick and tired of playing matches where I don't know where a single enemy player is, even though they're not using a suppressor and they should be appearing on the minimap. It is just such a dumb change. And I am of the belief that the minimap is just one of those features that makes Call of Duty stand out from other first-person shooter games, and you just don't change that. There are so many other features that developers can change year by year, but the minimap is just not one of those things. And let's be honest, who asked for the minimap to be changed or complained about it? Literally no one ever. But for whatever reason, the Modern Warfare developers have been ignoring our pleas with the minimap. They're trying to push this narrative for us to just adapt, bro, and get used to the compass. But no, I'm putting my foot down. I'm not adapting. I just want the minimap to be the way it's always been, and if they don't make this change soon, it's only gonna get worse from here, and I'm gonna eventually quit playing because I'm getting sick of it at this point. The next change that I would love to see come to Modern Warfare is them releasing not only more maps, but just better maps in general, and that's saying a lot because I think the bar has already been set pretty low in this game, what I would consider a playable map. But if you look at all of the maps that came in Modern Warfare at launch, I would say like 90% of them are just unplayable. And it's annoying from someone like myself where I have to basically lobby shop just to find a playable map. And I think what makes the situation even worse is that most of the maps that they've put out post-launch have just been remastered maps. And you would think, oh, well, Chance, that should be a good thing, right? Well, that's just not the case. And I've already made videos talking about this as well because they are ruining these remastered maps from classic Call of Duty games by not only adding new areas like safe spaces, but putting doors everywhere. I'm sorry, that is a terrible idea, and I've already roasted them, so I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole again. But yeah, they just need to put out better maps across all of the different game modes. The only map that has been released post-launch that I will actually give them credit for is Shoot House, but that is only a 6v6 map, and I really don't play 6v6 anymore because I think that's the worst game mode to play. I pretty much only play Ground War and maybe even 10v10 to an extent, but all the maps that they've added post-launch have either been average or below average at best. I think it would be totally fair if, let's say, every single month they release a brand new map to the game that's not a remaster to both Ground War, 10v10, as well as 6v6. If they bring back a remastered map, that should be a bonus if anything, but I want to see new maps because I believe that a lot of the maps from previous Call of Duty games just won't play well here in Modern Warfare. And if I had to count the amount of playable maps across all of the different game modes, that would only be like maybe 3 to 5 maps in total, and that's just pathetic to say. And the fifth and final change that I would love to see happen in Modern Warfare is making all of the kill streaks loopable in the same life, because we're all aware that you could only earn your 3 kill streak once and you have to die just to earn them again. And similar to the minimap point that I made earlier, who asked for this change? Because in, I would say, every single Call of Duty game in the past, again, kill streaks were loopable in the same life. And someone could correct me, but I'm almost positive that's how it's been. So Modern Warfare, they're just making changes that no one wants to see. And I mean, it's just such a slap in the face. I would consider this to be the smallest and maybe even the easiest change of the 5, and it would be such a nice and overall awesome change to see because I don't want to have to die just to earn my kill streaks again, because what if I'm trying to go for a 30 kill streak nuke and I want to continue to earn not only like UAVs or counter UAVs, but let's say an advanced UAV or whatever the case may be. It's just really dumb, and I don't see a logical reasoning for having it the way it is currently in Modern Warfare. And if they made this change, I would be happy, even though I would consider a smaller one. Infinity Ward, please listen to us. We're not complaining just to complain. We actually want to have a fun and playable Call of Duty game, but you're just getting in the way at this point and going against what the community wants to see in your game. So yeah, guys, that is 5 changes that, if done to Modern Warfare, would actually make this a good Call of Duty game. And yes, guys, I am definitely leaving out a couple things that would also make Modern Warfare a better game in general. But the reason I picked these 5 topics specifically is I think they're not outlandish changes, and I think they're totally doable. Yes, some are more complicated than others, but I mean, if you look at something like nerfing the ghost perk or making kill streaks loopable, that's something they could change in a hot fix, for crying out loud. I'm not asking them to like totally overhaul the game or something. So I am trying to be as reasonable as possible, but at the end of the day, if the developers aren't listening to us, which, spoiler alert, I don't think they're doing even remotely, then I don't know what we could do at this point. I mean, I've been playing Modern Warfare a lot lately, like I brought up earlier, and when I don't have to deal with some of these issues that I brought up, I'm actually having fun in this game. So yeah, guys, I guess only time will tell, but hey, fingers crossed. Modern Warfare has so much untapped potential. If you guys stuck around to the end of the video and enjoyed and haven't already, drop a like on this video as well as comment down below your guys' thoughts. Subscribe to the channel and turn on those bell notifications to get notified every single time I upload a new video here on my channel. Follow my Twitch and all my social medias that will be linked down in the description down below. And until next time, I will catch you guys in the next video.